Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new updated terms and services of New Genesis, or just PSO2 in general. They added a new clause, which is clause number 5, titled Shutdown of Online Services. Sounds pretty sus if you ask me, and pretty scary. But don't worry, I read through all of the terms and conditions, and it's not as scary as you think. It's not as dramatic as most of us automatically thought. Shutdown of online services! Oh my god, the game's gonna die! Kick Steal a Mao! But no, it's not really gonna die, okay? It's just Sega covering their butts, covering their bases, so that people don't abuse certain systems. But before we dive into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload videos daily, so if you like what you see, I would appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So as we can see here in announcement, end user license agreement updated, and they've added these certain clauses right here. Number 5, shutdown of online services. Number 19, residents of United States and Canada, binding, blah, la, 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 all right? So none of this really matters except for number 5. So you're gonna click on end user license agreement, and you come up with this 50 gajillion page essay. So I will have the license agreement in the description below if you want to read it for yourself, but we're just gonna jump straight to clause number 5. Clause number 5, shutdown of online services. Sega reserves the right to stop offering or supporting online services, if any, related to the product at any time. If this happens, any related account or data you have may be terminated, and you may lose your ability to access some or all portions of the product, earned or purchased virtual items, and user-generated content. Sega shall not be required to provide refunds, benefits, or other compensation in connection with discontinuing such online services. So this over here sounds pretty damn scary. It's like, yeah, we can end the game at any time, and if we do end the game, well, tough luck. All the money you spent, all of the cosmetics, everything in the game will be null and void, and you basically lose everything, and Sega will not be held responsible for it and will not compensate you, blah 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 blah. However, before we all raise our pitchforks and go, Sega, why? We gotta continue reading because they did all of this for a reason. So it says here, without limiting the foregoing, if you access the product using multiple accounts or IDs, Sega reserves the right to discontinue your access to the product via any of these accounts or IDs. And if you use products or services that relate or to rely on the product, you acknowledge and agree that your access to such products and services may also be terminated in connection with any termination of your access to the product. So all of this sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but basically the TLDR is, at the beginning, they put some really strict rules saying that, hey, they can end the service anytime, and if they end it, they're not liable for giving your money back. If you spend money on this game and suddenly the servers go kaput, well, too bad, that's your problem, not Sega's problem. However, the reason they wrote the first clause and made it so strict was because of the second clause over here, basically saying that, hey, if you are multi-accounting, that is not allowed, you will be banned. Both your alt account and your main accounts will be banned, and they are not liable to refunding anything. And that's why they wrote the first clause so strictly, basically just saying that you're SOL if you get caught multi-accounting, and that you really shouldn't multi-account because it's against the terms and services of this game. So this includes, but is not limited to, red box farming. So red box farming is not allowed. It's official now, written black and white. It used to be a gray area. However, I told everyone like a month ago that, yo, you shouldn't red box farm. It's kind of a gray area and Sega is kind of frowning upon it. Well, now it's black and white, so don't do red box farming. Second of all, do not make an alt account to do your weeklies and transfer the money onto your main account. That is also not allowed anymore. Basically, anything that revolves around making a second account or multiple accounts and funneling those resources onto one account is no longer allowed, alright? So I've seen a lot of people complain about clause number 5, going like, oh my gosh, how could Sega do this, blah blah blah. Well, I want to point out the terms and services for other games. So here we have Final Fantasy XIV's terms and services, and they literally bolded the part right here. I'm guessing that Final Fantasy XIV probably had some issues with this before, so they had to bold it so people would actually read it. You acquire no ownership or property rights in any character or in any in-game virtual good, and they are licensed to use such characters and assets associated with your Final Fantasy XIV service account, subject to the conditions set forth in the agreements. You agree that your FF14 service account and any virtual goods and characters do not have any monetary value. Square Enix may suspend, terminate, modify, or delete Final Fantasy XIV service accounts, characters, virtual goods, or the service altogether at any time for any reason or for no reason, with or without notice or liability to you. So this is pretty much the exact same thing as clause number 5 over here, or at least the first part, basically saying that you own nothing. You just own a limited license to play the game. So your character in Final Fantasy XIV, they can delete it. They can do anything they want with your account and you can't do squat. Because as you can see here, you know, they can do it for any reason or for no reason. So if a dev was just like, yeah, I just want to screw with this person, they can do that in Final Fantasy XIV. So don't freak out over this clause, okay? A lot of games have a clause like this in their terms and services. So this is the one that PSO2 has, this is the one that Final Fantasy XIV has, and of course we have one at Genshin over here saying that MiHoYo basically owns everything, alright? Everything with the name MiHoYo on it or is published by MiHoYo, it's theirs, right? And it's the same thing as what Final Fantasy wrote, the same thing as what PSO2 wrote. They all have the same meaning, basically saying that, yo, you don't own your character in their game, you just simply have a license to play the game, and they can take it away from you at any given time, regardless if you're free to play or if you spent a bajillion dollars. It doesn't matter to them. And so I just want to let everyone know that, yo, don't panic just because they put that really scary clause over there. NGS or PSO2 is not going to die immediately, alright? I'm going to make a whole separate video about this on why the game is not going to die immediately, because literally NGS has been out for like 3 months, guys. It's literally been out for like 3 months or 2 months and a little bit more. They don't have enough statistics to be like, oh no, we're gonna lose all our money, we gotta end the game now and cut our losses. PSO2 is such a big cash cow for them that they're not gonna kill off this IP. I mean, look at freaking Blade and Soul. Blade and Soul's been milking their community since like the end of time. It's kind of nuts. And if you see the new Unreal Engine 4 coming out, they've got new founders packs for that. And then we've got Blade and Soul 2, and they're milking the crap out of it there too. Like, come on, man. If you spend this much time developing a game, you're not going to kill it off in 2 months or 3 months just because things are looking bad. You're going to spend effort. You're going to try to fix the game. You're going to try to make the community happy so that they're more incentivized to spend more money onto your game. So Sega can make their investors happy, so the investors invest more money, blah, 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 blah. And there you go. There's the positive cycle. Alright, we're just in a really crappy situation right now because everyone's complaining about how greedy Sega is with all these AC scratches, and it just so happens that they wanted to cover their bases so they don't get sued or anything, and so they had to add in this extra clause, or clause number 5, and everyone's freaking out because they're like, oh my god. And it's the timing, right? It's clearly the timing was really, really poor. If they added this clause back in like episode 6 of the base game, no one would blink an eye. They'd be like, whatever, the game's doing great, you know, they're probably just covering their butts, which they are doing, okay? Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
Can I say except you're welcome for the year?